Hi y'all, it's the day before St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing green today just to get in the mood. I'm going to go ahead and start cooking my corned beef and cabbage today so that y'all can see how to do it in case you want to do it tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day. It's very simple. I just buy a corned beef brisket, which I've shown y'all this before. I think I put a picture out on Facebook for it, but anyhow, I always put it inside a big pan like this because there's a lot of juice in there that I don't want to, let me move y'all back a little bit, that I don't want to come out all over my cabinet. So I'm just gonna slice this open here and get this little baby out. You can see there's a flavor packet in here, and that's very important. That's what really, to me, makes corned beef taste like corned beef. But there's the little flavor packet right here. You can see, pick it up like that. So we'll put that in the juice in just a minute. So let me get this little baby up here. I'm just gonna pick it up now. I'm gonna put it fat side up. You can see how there's a fat side on there and a lean side. So I'm gonna put it fat side facing up. And then I'll move this container all the way out of the way over here. And let me rinse my hands off real quick. Now we're going to just cover this with water. So just pour lots of water in here until it comes all the way up, covers it. This was a little more than 4 cups. I'll probably add a little bit more in just a minute, but I want to just show you, you're just gonna cut this flavor packet open and dump those in. It's all kinds of spices, which really makes it wonderful. I don't even know what kind of spices they are, but they're really good. And then I'm just going to turn it on, let it boil. You could do this in the crock pot if you started early enough in the day. I didn't. We had to go out of town for a memorial service and we just got home. So I'm going to cook it probably for about 2 hours, and then I'll add the potatoes and the cabbage and things to it. So, but for right now, I'm just going to be cooking the meat, and I'm going to cook it covered. And when it's gets done, I will get back with you. Hey y'all, I'm back, and it's been 2 hours. This has been boiling, and it looks pretty done. It's just going to continue to get more tender. I'm going to go ahead now and put some potatoes in there. I just peeled some red potatoes and I've just cut them into pretty good sized chunks. I'll show you. I'm just cutting them like in thirds, basically, like this. Sorry, you might not have been able to see that. I was not over here far enough. Anyhow, I'm just going to add these into the pot and let these cook for about maybe 30 or 40 minutes, and then I'll add the cabbage in. Now, while we were on the break and letting these things, letting this meat cook, I did a little research on St. Patrick's Day and just some of the myths around it, some of the folklore, and took a few notes from my research. And you can go on to the World Wide Web and research it yourself, but I thought it was pretty cool that the cabbage, the corned beef and cabbage, the cabbage has always been an Irish thing. That's nothing new. But the corned beef, that was more of an American Irish thing, because the Irish who came over, they were very poor. They were living in the lower side of Manhattan in the really poor section, just didn't have the money to buy the Irish ham or bacon that was traditional over in Ireland. So they learned that they could buy the leftover corned beef from the ships that were coming back from the tea trade in China, and they would take that leftover corned beef and boil it like 3 times, and the 3rd time they boiled it, that's when they would put the cabbage in, because it had a lot of brine in it, a lot of salt, and so the cabbage would help take that out. Anyhow, I thought that was very interesting information that I found out. And then I found out also about the shamrock. And hold on one second, I'm gonna go grab a shamrock. They just happen to have these on sale at the grocery store this afternoon, so I went ahead and bought some for my friends, and I'm going to give them to them tomorrow. But I just love shamrock. Shamrock is actually a 3-leaf clover, and it grows wild over there in Ireland. But its legend has it that St. Patrick would use the 3 leaves to explain the Trinity when he was preaching over there and talking about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I thought that was really cool. And the other thing I learned was that when the English started taking over all the land in Ireland, they were also not just taking their land, but they were banning the Irish language. They were forbidding it, and so they were just really, the Irish were just being taken over. And so in their little way of rebelling, and actually the beginning of Irish nationalism, they would take the shamrock and put it in their lapel or whatever. Anyhow, they would wear a shamrock as their little sign of rebellion. And I just thought that was so sweet that just, how that came about. But anyhow, just some little tidbits that you can learn just by going on the internet and trying to figure it all out. And you can also Google about St. Patrick and read the history of him. It was also said that he wasn't really born Irish. He was born British, but when he was like 16, he was kidnapped and taken to Ireland. And then one source said that then he came back to Britain, and then he wound up going back to Ireland as a missionary, and then became a priest. So anyhow, it's all very interesting. Oh, and the other thing that the English were doing when they were banning the Irish language, they were also banning Catholicism. So it's amazing how history has just gone all around. It's just crazy. But anyhow, I thought it was really cool to look it up. So y'all do that too. I'm gonna let this cook for a little while, and then I'll chop up the cabbage. I've got a nice big head of cabbage here, and I'm gonna cut it into just wedges and put the wedges in the pot. And then I was just we're gonna actually have this dinner tomorrow, but I wanted to cook it today so that y'all could see how I did it. And then you could do it tomorrow. Anyhow, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Okay, so these potatoes have boiled for about 20 minutes or so, and they are fork tender. Just want you to see. They just, the fork just slides right in them. In fact, they tear apart if I do it too much. So anyhow, now it's time to put the cabbage wedges in. I've already cut them up. So I'm just going to just poke them down in the pot here, all the way around. Just try to get them down in the water as much as I can. We're gonna put the lid on this, so they'll be cooking in there anyhow. So. It's kind of crowded, but just remember, cabbage will shrink as it cooks. So, all right, so that's all the cabbage wedges in there. And now I'm just going to put the top on and let it continue to cook. So that's it. Those will cook for maybe another 15 or 20 minutes until the cabbage is tender, and then my dinner will be ready. What I'll do at that point is I'll lift that meat out and scrape that layer of fat off before I start slicing it, and I always slice across the grain when I'm cutting it. So I think that's pretty simple, and I don't know anything else that y'all actually will need to see. So I'm going to end the video now, but it's a delicious meal. I think y'all have a lot of fun if you can run on out to the grocery store, buy yourself a corned beef and a head of cabbage and some potatoes, and just go for it. It's a delicious meal. And then the good news is that the leftover corned beef makes wonderful Reuben sandwiches for the next day. So I've already bought my sourdough bread. If you like rye bread, you can get that. I've got the Thousand Isle dressing. I've got the Swiss cheese. I am ready to make those, and the sauerkraut. And so I'm going to be ready to make those on Thursday. So anyhow, y'all have a wonderful evening. Have a very blessed and happy St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Love you. Bye.